Thursday, November 2nd. You rolling?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna go shut the fitness door real quick.
Wait for the door to be closed. I think we should buy a battery for the clock.
It's over there, it's working.
Yeah, but this one here is,
Oh, no, that one's working.
okay, but I can't see out of the back of my head.
Meeting minutes,
I was never a
6
school
o'clock.
teacher.
Put your phone in front of you. That tells time. Let's click it.
I know, but I have my timer
Okay,
going,
it's-
so I know.
Oh,
How much time am I gonna
10
make up at
o'clock,
work?
right?
Yeah.
Close, yeah. Okay, first item of business is programming updates.
Excellent. A handful of programming updates this month. Our meditation program kicked off this past Tuesday at 10 a.m. The class is completely full with a wait list. This is being led by Doreen Kaminsky, making a successful return after its initial appearance in our spring session. Given the attendance, we're probably going to be offering it again in the spring as well. So we'll aim to have sort of a quarterly offering, a minimum 2 times a year, but certainly adds a wellness component to our already strong programming schedule. Given the feedback, I know I'd announced at the last meeting that we had 2 new fitness programs, one of which is going on right now. The first class of the day, which starts at 9 a.m. Welcome, Marjorie. Down to you. No worries.
Good morning.
Good morning, I made it a little bit late, hello.
It's okay. Better late than never.
Yeah, hi.
So we received some feedback from some of the folks that initially attended the first session. The class was originally set up to have stations where folks would rotate through, do various workouts. The group, they attend a handful of classes, suggested just returning to normal instructor-led, in front of everybody type of class. Given that feedback, we're going to pivot, transition, and give that a go. It's not to say we can't offer something like that in the future, because those are definitely helpful from a functional standpoint.
I used to like the stations, because you could have everybody doing something different, but, you know, if you get different types of equipment and you get 10 people and you only get 2 pieces of equipment, it makes it difficult to do that.
Certainly. We will keep our ears open if folks are asking for station-based fitness, though. Bocce wraps up next week. Given the success of that program as well, we'll plan to return it once the winter weather disappears, and hopefully it's not here too early this year. Yesterday we had approximately 25 participants, which was a mix of students and residents from Stonehill for our music trivia program. Stonehill was kind enough to provide cider and donuts and helped lead a truly intergenerational program.
Yeah. I told her next time, make sure she brings diabetic stuff. A couple of no sugar things, or even a plain donut would do. But it was all sugar.
Oh, okay. Can you get it?
But it was crowded.
Everybody had fantastic things to say about it, so we were really excited. Stonehill's been an awesome partner in so many different programs that
Yep.
we've run. Looking forward to more stuff with them. But that's a very good point. I appreciate it. Joe Morris Senior Support Circle returned this month since the last time we spoke. Again, very well attended and very well received. It's taking place on Wednesdays. It's a free program. Joe has been a fabulous instructor for us, and if he's available in the spring, we'll plan to bring this back as well.
May I ask, are you reading along where I should be following something?
No.
Oh, no, you're reading from something different.
From the agenda. Yep.
Yeah.
Update programming.
Yes.
Second thing, program update.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
In about 2 weeks, on 11/17, we'll have our last chair massage program of the year. We have run these quarterly so far, and they have essentially booked out every single time. This is $10, and it's a 12-minute session for the chair massage. The town subsidizes the remainder of the cost to the massage therapist. Those registrations are open, and we encourage folks to sign up for them because they are filling up fast. We're working on dates for 2024 already as well.
Do you know who the masseuse is?
Chris Sloan, she has her own business out of Canton.
Sounds great.
Yes. This was brought up at our last meeting, but on 12/1, we'll have our holiday card making program. Registration opened yesterday, and we already have 4 folks for it. I believe the maximum is 20 individuals, and it is a free program that we'll be subsidizing the cost of. We have finalized the dates for our Patriots Hall of Fame trip. This will be on December 5th from 1 to 3:30. For the cost of $10, transportation and the admission cost to the Hall of Fame will be provided. Registration for that is 14 individuals.
How much was it cost?
$10.
$10.
Yep.
What's the date on that one?
12/5. I believe it's Monday
That's a
or
good trip.
Tuesday.
I went on it,
Did you?
yeah.
Is it fun?
It's interesting. I'm not a great Patriots fan, but it's interesting. I'm not a football fan.
That's hard to be a Patriots fan right now.
Right, well, no, it's just my son-in-law is, oh my God, is he a Patriots fan? But it's a good trip.
Nice.
And the construction's done, that's even better. Because we had trouble with getting back to the bus at one point. Because of construction, they wouldn't allow the bus to come in, and we had to walk down.
And the last programming update. One of our last programs of the year will be Marjorie's husband doing a presentation for us. We picked a date, 12/7, following our next Council on Aging meeting. Gary will be leading a presentation and conversation about diabetes for older adults, per some of the recommendations from our last meeting. Very excited. He seems really eager to present for us.
What day of the week and what time is that?
It'll be immediately following this meeting, so
Oh.
you better stick around.
Okay. So 11
Is that a
o'clock?
sign-up or just general come in?
We will have signups for that very shortly.
Okay. I
He's
have
an
to do that one.
economist
And he knows about diabetes.
from his perspective.
Yes, it will not necessarily be through
not
a
medical.
medical or practitioner's lens. It'll be sort of a broader conversation surrounding it. It's based on his conversation with me.
Did you listen to it? Were you not able to?
I wasn't. We had an emergency that
Oh,
popped up
okay.
and required a bunch of my time. But
I asked him if you were on. He said he didn't know. Can't always.
no, but what he shared with me, if there was a podcast on it, I would definitely listen. It sounds really stimulating.
Okay. I don't know if he's doing it again before or not.
Excellent.
Should be interesting.
Yeah.
But you asked specifically about foot care, and it is not about that.
No,
Yeah.
but still, from an economic end, and what people don't know about footwear for their diabetics is they get free footwear.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
That's what I did for 25 years.
Oh,
was the
interesting.
footwear end of it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Excellent. That is my programming update. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Under doctor's prescriptions. Not just
Newsletter
give it
discussion.
out.
I think we had talked previously about getting him dropped off at like the post offices and that type. Cause they
Yeah.
had stopped. I don't know if they were
I
gotten
ca-
out there yet or.
So
haven't
I came with a few notes of the changes we made to the newsletter, and
It's in here.
I've done a little research as to where they go now, where they
Ah.
have gone in the past. So a few changes we've made per some of you, your comments, and other feedback from residents. We've pulled the program schedules up to the front of the calendar, or excuse me, to the packet. And move some of our staff contact to the back. I believe that was one recommendation from Jim. That's a great idea. We've added the table of contents to the front to help with navigation. We've been putting in quarterly notes to the community, which hopefully people are reading. I like to express some gratitude and provide some updates. And we've shared some important information about closures on the front as well. The newsletter currently is shared at Town Hall, Easton YMCA, Ames Free Library, Bill's House of Pizza, and Roach Brothers. Historically, when we had a little bit of a broader volunteer base, it would go to the 2 locations for the Bank of Easton, Big Y, CVS on Washington Street, the Easton Post Office, Town Hall, the Housing Authority, which we still do mail to, we just don't have
Okay.
the stand for. Northeastern Savings Banks, Main Street and Depot Street location, Shaw's, and the Peach on Columbus Ave.
Okay.
So with this, I know that there were a bunch of ideas that we had talked about before, but I wanted to at least introduce it in more formal setting. If people have ideas, locations to drop off.
Yeah. Okay.
I would be happy to bring a bunch to the local synagogue. There,
That'd be excellent.
yeah, what I'm finding is that many of the people at the houses of worship are older folks. And I think that would be great to have them.
I agree. I think we're missing the boat in terms of sharing information with a lot of the townspeople who, don't really, even, the other thing is that this wasn't mentioned in the town crier, that email. It used to be, there was a link to it every week on Friday but lately there hasn't been.
I will double check that. I know historically we've put it in there. To Marjorie's point, for the houses of worship, definitely appreciate your offer. How many copies would be needed for something like that? Because we would need to, as we add more places, we would need to request more copies and make sure we have like a reasonable supply for folks. What's something that you think might be reasonable?
I'd say 20.
I was just
20,
gonna say
25.
20,
Yeah.
I was just
25.
gonna say that, and I'm, just because I happen to go there, but if other people belong to there are so many of them in town.
Yeah.
I know that the synagogue and the Lutheran church sort of has they've been doing some joint programming, and I know that a lot of the folks at the Lutheran church are older folks,
Mhm.
Oh, they
those
are.
who go to so I just think that will be,
And
I don't know if,
The Episcopal Church is in with the Lutheran Church.
oh, right, that's right, there are
Yeah.
two churches in one. So
Two
just an
churches.
idea, I would imagine, all of the houses of worship would welcome that information. But
Yeah.
I don't,
It's hard. Right now we're only at 5 places. It seems a bit narrow, and I know all of you have recommended dropping other places, and our community members and our older residents go so many different places than the places that we have listed here. So
Right.
I'm absolutely supportive of trying to find and identify other locations.
did you mention the Y, right? You
We had
already-
them at the
yeah,
Y. Yep.
yeah.
Are there other houses of worship? Because I do think that's a very beneficial
I think the
thing.
Catholic churches, you should,
Yep, there are two.
yeah.
There's 2.
Holy Cross and Immaculate Conception.
Holy Cross.
So
I
there's one on Purchase Street and one on Main Street.
I think if you just Googled,
Mhm.
Easton Mass Houses of Worship, you could get a list
It'll all
of
come
them.
up.
You're looking for places to put these?
Yeah.
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 Supermarkets?
We
Well, they are
do-
at Roach Brothers, or at least
The Congregational
sometimes they're at
Church up
Roach
on Center
Brothers.
Street.
Yeah.
We have Shaw's in town.
Do they have them up there?
We have,
The only place I've
One-
seen them is at Roach Brothers, that's why I mentioned it.
They used
Can't
to
think of
have
the
them
name
at
of the other
donut
one.
shops, but
Yeah,
they
East
don't
Street,
anymore.
Hannaford's.
They
Right.
allow
The
'em.
beanery, people hang out at the beanery and they would, I believe, would welcome.
Yeah.
There's like a
That's true.
table
That's
that's,
true.
Yeah, I'll have to see if there's a limit on the number of editions we can have printed, because there's,
it's expensive.
well, so we get it for free through, I don't have a copy, but the printer, if you go through the ad itself, there are print marketing for some local businesses. So by including, which I think they're on the back page and one of the middle pages, by having that ad space in there, the publisher prints these for free for
Awesome.
us. But I'm not sure if there's
There
like a
might be a
maximum
limit.
number that they
Right.
can allow us to do.
Right. Yeah, that's.
So we might have to be a little bit strategic with our placement, 'cause I think mailouts already are right around 1,000 residents, maybe a few more, a few less, 'cause I know
Mail
we have
to
a bunch
people's
here.
homes.
And the housing authority as well, yeah.
Well, I would be happy to bring a bunch to the synagogue and the beanery, just because I think the actual delivery is a task, right? That-
Yeah, so we're working on, we have 3 new tax work-off applicants that are yet to be assigned. So I'm trying to gauge
Oh, that
through-
would be awesome, no tasks for.
Yeah, so they would get money off the
Great.
property tax, so it'd be a really great opportunity and
To deliver them.
win-win. Yeah.
That's fabulous. So I don't have to do it. If someone else could benefit, that, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, I will provide an update next time, because I know the tax work-off applications, I think the deadline just passed, so they're probably looking to assign them. And I'll provide an update in December on that. At worst case, I think Jeff and I could probably drop some off as well, and I can't necessarily guarantee that we'll have at all these locations, but we can start to expand our reach. I think that's a step in the positive direction.
So this, I don't know if this would be, probably not. There's voting coming up on Saturday.
Mhm.
Could they be somewhere near the voting?
That's a very good suggestion.
Not everyone, but people will be there. If
I
there's,
don't know whether they'd allow that.
I don't know
or
if they would
not.
allow it either.
It's worth the ask.
Yeah.
Additionally, in this, we are adding more pages to this per the request of the publisher, some of which will be dedicated to ads. But we will have 3 more pages dedicated to content in the community. While we do offer a lot of programs and there's a lot of resources we could identify, is there anything that folks think would be important to include that we might not be putting in the editions that would be beneficial for our older residents?
Is there something in here about the different town things, like the different town meetings and town votes and all of that? Like an update from town hall?
Yeah, an update from town hall might be good. We do.
There's some stuff in here about the town meeting, special town meeting that's coming up.
Front page.
Is that all it is? It's just one?
Well, that's where I,
No, I mean, there was something in the back here.
The Round Town, is that what you want?
Where did I see
Yeah,
it?
that's great.
Information
November
what's going on.
13th, special town meeting on the back.
Yeah, and it's right there. too.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah. Then the Veterans Day when they have here for the parades and stuff.
This is it. Veterans Day, November 13th special meeting.
Daylight saving.
you had Stonehill come up. Do you think maybe their theater program would like to?
I had reached out to them February of last year. And
Oh, okay. and
They weren't
nah.
very responsive.
Oh, okay. No, I just,
It seems like they're a busy group.
I-
But agree, think it's a cool
Yeah.
idea.
I don't know if we've moved on from programming, but I kind of remember in the past we talked about maybe doing something around the holidays, like more, maybe a caroling thing, or
Mhm.
maybe that's something to just think about for next year, if it's probably too late now.
It might be a little late for this year, but we are working on a New Year's Eve program, which will be like.
New Year's Eve.
I personally struggle to make it to midnight, and I think maybe an end of year celebration at Frothingham Hall might be fun.
That would be really fun.
Music. We're trying to see if we can identify a little bit of entertainment or some money for like catered food. And if not this year, definitely next year, because I think that could be a fun way to cap off the year. Caroling, I personally cannot sing, but maybe we can have
But even
carolers
an
in.
in-house sing-along, like I
Yeah.
think people like hearing, and maybe for the entertainment, if you tapped into the high school,
Mm.
right? They must have some.
yeah, they get caught, yeah, they
They could have, I don't know what, maybe you know more about the school, some kind of a quartet and singers, or maybe some of the the students would enjoy that.
Yeah.
How about the kids, what is it they call? It's a group that the kids have. Musical, not choir.
There is something called musical. They used to have
Yeah.
a very strong music program, so, and that may be, they probably wouldn't charge, and the school isn't in session, so
Yeah.
who knows, but possibly, just an idea.
Yeah, the entertainment-based programs that we've run have been really well received. It's tricky to get folks in here sometimes, but it's certainly a good idea especially for the holiday season.
Actually, I love that idea. I know the Children's Museum used to do, they might still do, a New Year's Eve party at like 4 o'clock or something. I know about it when my kids are little, they're all grown now.
Okay, anything else on the newsletter discussion? Moving on, we got, we all have copies of the minutes. The only comment I have was, you know, I feel sorry that Jim departed. It kinda sounds like he was gone.
Oh, that,
Not like I was what?
It sounds like you were dead. Jim departed at 10:37.
Poor Jim.
Oh,
That is
gosh.
pretty
With 2
funny.
stars.
Would you like
He was
me
a good guy.
Would you like me to change the verbiage, Jim?
Yeah.
Would you like me to change the
Made it to
wording?
one meeting and that was it, you know?
No, 2. There was
Go,
only a
well,
second.
okay, that was what the stars were for. Yeah,
Then you adjourned 8 minutes later.
that's it, yeah.
We're glad you're here.
So I have, that was the only thing I noticed. Everything looks good. And, entertain a motion for acceptance.
Aye.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Okay, so the meetings are done.
Staff notes.
Staff notes. Notes on some building closures, just so everybody's aware. We'll be announcing these with publications around the hall, and then they should be in our upcoming newsletter. We will have a closure on the 23rd, observing Thanksgiving, and the 24th is Turkey Recovery Day. We will have a half day on the Friday.
24th is Turkey Recovery Day?
Turkey Recovery Day is
So
what I believe
we're
it's called around
closed
town.
for Turkey Day.
Yes.
That's very cute.
Yeah, be a lot of very sleepy employees if we had to come in. We will have a half day on December 22nd, and then all day on Christmas Day on the 25th, which is the Monday.
And November the 10th, Veterans Day.
And November the 10th, the Veterans Day. Yep. Yes. A nice
Are,
long
are
weekend.
there any in-town things, observance of Veterans Day?
They do, they have Veterans Day parade.
A parade, okay.
Hmm?
Okay.
I'm not sure where they meet, but I know they
So
have
that would
one.
be the kind of thing that if you piggybacked with the town to put in the newsletter, right? Like just to remind folks that
Yeah.
if there was a
Wasn't
a
there,
town update.
wasn't there something in here about Veterans Day?
Thought I saw something.
I thought I saw something.
Yeah, I
too.
think it's in there too.
Okay.
But I know they have a parade,
Yeah, page 10,
page 10.
I thought I saw it in there.
Veterans Day Parade.
Okay, great.
They'll start on Main Street at the post office.
I'm hoping the weather holds up for it. And
Yeah.
It's not
I-
as chilly as it is today.
I do have a question. Isn't there, and I'm sorry if I'm being repetitive, isn't there a program for folks to get assistance with heating in the winter?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, is that in here?
It's been in the, I don't know if it's in this week because it's, weekend.
That
Okay.
isn't just for seniors?
It's anybody with low income.
I see.
That's how that goes, anybody with low income. And they used to, I don't think it's in this one, so that it's been in the past. It would list one person living, 2 people, 4 people,
Okay.
and go that way, and that's
Yeah,
where you
'cause
kinda.
we're coming up to
Yeah.
cold weather.
Page 4,
Still there,
fuel
okay.
assistance.
Yes, still there,
Okay.
but that's a different program.
Well,
That's not the SNAP program, that's a
Oh.
different, I was gonna question that, ask them what that is.
I'll see if I can get Tracy Levine to do another guest appearance here and talk about some of the benefits that might be seasonal
Okay.
around the winter time.
Something that isn't in here and probably couldn't be because we wouldn't have known is that there's a vote on Saturday.
It used to be, called the SNAP program.
Yep.
This was a new one, I looked at it, and said, oh, the Mass Low Income House Energy Assistance, but then they have the, self-help program. And I said, is this what it became, or is this still the same thing?
Is this the one that because of the, what they're gonna be doing for the fire and police station in here?
The vote?
How you doing?
Yeah, no, there's something to do with helping out. I think that might be it. I know they were talking about some sort of a program to help with the taxes that are gonna be going up because of the new fire and police and all those for the low income.
Yeah, I think I know what you're referring to.
Yeah.
I can
I
make a
didn't know
note.
whether this was it or not.
I don't think
I
it
think
would be.
that's different.
Um,
That's
It's
a
Well,
different.
this, no, this is a different program. It runs from November of 2023. Oh, same program.
Oh,
It is just a different name.
That's, I'm trying to, that's what I was trying to figure out. And I was
Yeah.
gonna ask Tracy one day and
Yeah.
my mind went elsewhere.
and Saturday is a vote,
Yeah.
at the high school
Yeah.
for,
The override.
The yes or no vote.
a yes or no vote. Is it all day?
No,
10 to 4,
Four,
I think it
yeah.
is.
10 to 4?
but you can also go up to the town hall, town
You can do
clerk's
an absentee
office.
ballot?
You can get the form,
Okay.
fill it out, and put it in the box out front.
I think
They'll
the
mail you a
deadline is
ballot.
over for that. I think that ended on the 30th.
Oh, did it?
I think so.
Oh, okay. So it didn't last that long then.
But that was for them to mail it to you, so maybe if you went there, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah, I
way that
think
it was
so the
written,
mail-in ended.
yeah.
Oh, is
but-
that the
Yeah, I
mail-in?
think it was the mail-in.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
To sign up for that. I
But-
think, I could be wrong.
Did a lot of people, or how many people, would be a better question, came here for the discussion prior to
Mm.
the,
About 35.
it was well attended,
Yeah,
that's the
the
max.
room was about full. Yeah.
Interesting, did anyone come? No?
Working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did.
Oh.
I think I remember seeing you.
I forget.
It was very long that night, whatever
You mean a special
Monday.
town
Yeah.
meeting?
Oh, my
that
good-
was.
that went
Yeah.
on. Whew.
Is that why there's a second town meeting next?
I don't
Now,
know.
the second time meeting is, the first one was just for the override. This next one,
That doesn't seem
It'll be-
cost effective, does it? To have,
They needed to
well, it
have
was
that.
4 hours updated just for the police and fire station. So if you tried to throw on the one that's coming up on the 13th, I think it is, it would have been 2 nights anyway, so.
Wasn't that more or less to let the people know how much it was gonna cost, and then Saturday is for the yes
Well,
or
if
no
it, if it didn't
to
pass at the
support
town
that?
meeting, it wouldn't have been they wouldn't have had an election,
Right.
from what I understand.
They
so.
had to pass it in order to have the vote on
Yeah.
Yes.
Saturday.
Passed by not too much either, I guess.
I thought it
Oh,
was,
yeah, it was like 370 yes to
Was it?
180 no, yeah.
so.
Those may not be exact
Yeah.
numbers, but
Yeah.
it's in the ballpark. Yeah, it was lively. Democracy at its best,
Absolutely.
right? In my opinion.
And that is all I have for
Civil
staff notes, Matt.
discourse.
All right. Member notes.
I have a question. When's the parking lot going to start getting work done?
Great question.
Probably the spring. Not until then. They won't do it now for the winter.
I don't know. I had to park on the,
Check my
with-
calendar.
between
It's
my knee
becoming a
and parking
problem
on that-
because of
that
the more they bring
angle.
programs
Yes,
they
so
bring
did
in.
I keep
When
on
I
waiting
pulled
for
in,
the
I
car
thought,
to just roll back
"Where's all
I
the
know.
people
down
that come in?"
Barrows.
I know. But do we know when it's gonna,
There was a meeting with DPW I was unable to attend. I'm not able to scroll back to it on, I want to say the second week of October. I was out of office. My interpretation is that there are site plans done and they are looking to extend the back part to add about 10 to 11 spots.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a definitive timeline though, so I don't want to misrepresent that.
cause I thought that the little slanty thing was gonna go also, and they were gonna do something with that. Isn't that what
Yeah,
you
that's what
remember?
they were, they
Yeah.
were talking about
It,
that.
it is an ask. I don't know if I'm qualified on like what it would take to clear it out. But yeah, it's certainly an ask as well.
They get rid of the poison ivy. They go back that way, a lot of poison ivy.
There's a
out
lot
there.
of rocks from here over. A lot of rocks
And poison ivy,
and poison ivy.
and poison.
Stay away from that.
I got something I'd like to bring up and food for thought. If the town meeting does pass the new police and fire station, that's going to open up 3 buildings in town. I like this old building, but we need a new senior center. And I don't know if the buildings become available. I think the police and fire station on Lothrop Street would be perfect for it, because it's got a lot of room. What is the first step in getting the attention of the select board to consider this? I mean, it's gonna be 2 or 3 years down the
Yeah.
road, I realize that, but if we don't say something now,
See,
it's just gonna be, Go.
it's my, I don't know, my understanding is that those buildings are just, they can't be fixed, that, and I don't know if that's true or not, and if it is true, then that, I don't know,
Well,
I have
they-
a lot of questions
They,
about
they
this.
can't be fixed for the fire department and the police department.
but
Because
see, we're not gonna be, the fire department, one of the big things was that the sewer backed up into the showers. Okay, we're not gonna need showers. And,
You're gonna need toilets though.
well, yeah, but,
There were years, you know, I taught school at Parkview for 30 years, and there were spring times when you could not flush the toilets after 1 o'clock in the afternoon because of the leach field.
So my understanding, and I think it's a really great point, because we
You can tell the
definitely
kids to go to the
need,
bathroom now?
we,
Can't go
we as a
later?
No, just
town
don't
need
flush.
a bigger space
Yeah.
for the Council on Aging.
It
My
wasn't
understanding
overtime, it
is
was the
that
original.
it would cost more to bring those buildings up to code in terms of all of the, it's filled with asbestos, it's filled, you know, there are many things, it's mold, it's, the plumbing isn't good, that it might be more money to renovate and refit those buildings than it would be to build a new building. But that, for me, it raises the question of, that would be a great place. It might be cheaper, to take it down, but that would be a lovely place to build, it might be less money to build something new than it would be to retrofit those.
How about Mora Hall?
that's
That's
going
a
back to
fairly
Stone
that,
new-
Hill.
that's Stonehill's. They
Well,
own
I
it.
understand they didn't want it.
Well, I
That's
mean,
what I
but you
understood
get
it.
the same problem, it's an older building, you're gonna have asbestos,
But
you're
they're
gonna have.
not as old as the fire and police and
Oh, yeah,
the DPW, forget it.
oh, yeah, no,
That's-
that's, but the,
Or the center school.
But that space where the DPW is, that would be a good space for a Council on Aging too.
that would be, but with all the work that they've done on vehicles, and they've had the storage up there for the gasoline and
Yeah.
all of the stuff that's been leaked out of the trucks by, you know, just the way they do, that's gonna be a major cleanup.
So maybe the biggest question is somehow to get to the town, select people, a discussion about the Council on Aging, and to do some kind of a study, where could it be?
No.
You know, looking, like they did for the police and the fire, they did a whole study to see what are
That
the
was-
options.
That was very costly
It
though.
was costly.
I-
It was very costly, and
But-
this is not a high priority for the town as
Right.
the,
Right.
Who owns that
And-
abandoned building on Bay Road? That big white building used to be they used to sell lights out of it.
oh, right.
That has been, somebody's got a business running out of there.
Do they?
Misty
Yeah.
lighting
Every time I
is
drive by,
what it
there's
was.
nothing there.
Well, they've done a lot of stuff down there, and they've got vehicles in there every once in a while, so somebody's doing something with it.
They were talking about the center school because of the water hole there for the
Mhm.
kids for skating. If the excuse me, if the COA was there, that would go along with the recreation for the swimming pool.
So why?
Ice skating?
Why?
Yeah, that's
Why?
not gonna
Oh,
happen,
yeah.
the why's
No,
not
I
gonna
thought they were tearing that building down.
They probably are.
So the
That's
Y
got
backed out is
asbestos
the-
in it
the
too,
school,
but
is
that-
what it
I
is?
heard that a couple months ago that they are tearing
But the
Center School
setup
down.
on that
I don't know that they
would be good
fully
for,
backed out, but I'm on the board in the Y, and there was a very lengthy meeting that it is really would be prohibitively expensive,
Mhm.
and they wouldn't have the funds, and also it ends up not having the amount of square feet that it just, I don't remember the numbers, but it was gonna cost like
Yeah,
$25
critters in there,
million
too.
or something. It
What?
was,
Critters,
yeah,
raccoons,
yeah, it was
rats
sort of,
have been found over there.
really.
Yeah, 'cause I made a
I don't
visit
think it was I'm
a
sorry.
couple of weeks ago to
definitive, but that
Duxbury.
was what it
I
was
had to
for.
go there for our Lions thing, and I happened to walk through their COA building that they have there. It's like, oh my God, you walk into it and you got a full kitchen.
It's lovely.
You know, you've got all of this stuff, and it's just like, there's so many different things that could be done.
Sharon too, the downstairs of that community center is all,
On the lake too.
yeah, it's gorgeous.
West Bridgewater
We have
is
a
a nice
microwave.
one too, on 106 there.
Sorry, not to be flippant.
No,
not
I
to be
know,
flippant
I
with
know,
you.
but I mean, it just, there's so many, I know that they had talked, I don't know, was it 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer, putting an addition
To this building?
to this building, and I don't think that passed.
Hmm.
So, you know, I don't know if we did anything.
We're actually lucky to have this building.
Yeah.
At one time, they did not want one. It was all going into all the schools and forget about the seniors.
Oh, I realize that. But see, 50 plus years ago, I was instrumental in getting the youth center that we had in town at that point going. So I'd like to go full circle and
Where was that? The youth-
St. Mark's Church, which is now Southeast Funeral Home,
On Center Street.
Center Street.
Center Street.
It's by the Country Day.
Mm.
I think it's a really important conversation. You would hope that we would be next following.
Well, I mean, the question is now, I think we're all in agreement. What's the
need a
next
new
step?
building,
I mean, we
right.
gotta, do we try and get a representative from the Board of Selectmen down here to talk with them? If we can get somebody during the day? I think Craig Bodger is retired, so he might be able to make it, but, you know, just, what steps do we need to go? Let them know that we want something, and
That's a great idea.
But I also think that we need to, and this is just my observation over the last 6 months or so. It seems like the Council on Aging, the senior center aspect, has taken a back seat to the recreation department in terms of everything that's going on here. And I don't know if that's just my perception, or if it's just that we haven't advertised the senior aspect as much, because it seemed like there's a new website that has to do with the recreation department, correct? And all those fall programs or winter programs.
Sure.
Maybe we need to do something similar in terms of the senior center to kind of bring it out in the focus before, because we're not gonna have too much support if we don't get it out there.
I've
in my
heard that.
opinion.
Heard a
So
lot of it.
I can speak to that a little bit. If you consider, so yes, you're spot on. We do have a website for recreational programs. There have been not just youth sports like field hockey, floor hockey. There's been intergenerational programs such as the Family Fishing Clinic, the Pumpkin Carving Program. We've put some trips on that as well. What we've found so far, is pending, could always change, is that the older residents in town don't necessarily jive very well with the software yet. I would love if this was something that everybody could get onto and we could put programs on there as well, but I am hesitant to make a change over to that across the board because it might create barriers for some folks. I know there's a large group in town that prefers to call in, walk in here and sign up. So I certainly
But
still want to have those
perhaps
options.
we need to advertise that a bit more.
I definitely can do that. On the side of programming, I don't necessarily disagree with you that there's probably more programs on. So my job is community programs. I oversee both sides of the house of afternoon programs, day programs in this building, as well as what will be youth and adult sports and family programs. When you look at the times that older residents want to engage in programs, for the most part, what we see in other council on agings and this community center is that the weekdays, primarily between 9 and 2, are when most folks want to do the programs. We've seen some people come in for the evening ballroom dance programs, which has been well attended, but getting instructors to expand into the weekends is borderline impossible for me. And I've tried pretty hard to try to make this building a 7-day-a-week offering for folks in town. But then you get into Sundays, most folks go to houses of worship, and finding folks that want to work on Saturdays reliably for programming can always be a challenge. The recreational component of it, most of those programs are run by third-party contracted vendors that are in it for sort of a for-profit sense. So there's a little bit more motivation for those folks to come in and work weekends. And in terms of physical space, if we had 3 or 4 studios in this building, we could offer like 20 programs a day. It would be a drastically different venue. You could have crafts in one room. This could be an art studio or a book club. You could have fitness rotating through different sections. We have a modest park system, but we do have more parks than we have rooms in this building. And parents typically are willing to go and drop their kids off or participate in programs at later hours or more days in the week. So when you look at the two of them, the one side tends to be a little bit more dynamic because there's more flexibility and more willingness to go at different times, compared to sort of like the consistent schedule for folks that would be engaged in like the programs that we're talking about. I will always look to try to expand programs in this building, whether it's like our evening bocce league, the intergenerational programs on weekends or evenings. And if we can find instructors who can come on weekends, that's definitely something that we'll look at. Those are just, they sort of have like their own characteristics and challenges that I've seen so far that trying to break through so that we can have more offerings for folks. So I hope that clarifies a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're off base for sure.
No, I just think that, if we're going to be pushing for a new facility or for more space, we need to really
Promote.
promote the senior center aspect of this
And the need of
area.
seniors,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of people still think this is the senior center.
Yes.
A lot of people still think that,
Yeah.
even though the wording is different and everything, but they still think that it's a senior center. And I said, no, it's not anymore, it's a community center. And that's why there's so many new things brought in.
So can I get to you in 1 sec? So one other component about advocating is we've been really intentional since I believe, when did I start? I started 2 Junes ago. Since September of that year, so like last September, we've been keeping quarterly statistics of how many people come in this building, our total participation stats for the afternoon programs, both fitness and arts, culture, workshops. So we're starting to keep an eye on the numbers, and what we've seen is over time the numbers have like almost doubled. I think we're looking at like a 70% increase in attendance here.
That's
And
fantastic.
some of that can be tracking, like we may not have been tracking to the
Right.
best of our ability.
But that stuff should be promoted so that,
Certainly, yeah.
you know,
So we have these numbers, and when we assemble these annual reports, a lot of it is framing the story of we went from the 5 fitness classes a week that we've talked about with the 2 or 3 instructors to a slate that's so full we can't get people into the parking lot. And the building now is not only open 8 to 4, we're running programs beyond it that grandparents are bringing their kids to pumpkin decorating activities. We don't have parking really to offer folks spaces for trips when we go to Foxborough or we go to Semrec or things like that.
Which is why we need to work on the parking. and
Yeah,
get
so
going.
the whole thing is creating and crafting the story that accurately represents what we're going through. And I think we all agree that we just don't have the space to do more. And doing more is an important part of serving the older residents in the community. So absolutely, we are working on a lot of the foundational things that need to be in place to advocate. But to Matt's point, I'll certainly try to come up with an answer of like what a roadmap would look like
Yeah.
to start the conversation, learn some of the things that we might need to have in place or discuss as a larger group.
How much square footage
Here?
you
Ooh.
accessing here?
Anybody want to take a guess? Who can get closest?
Idea.
1,200?
I
Not
think
counting the office?
Oh, I think it's more
A
than that.
programmable space or the total building?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said not counting the offices out there. 'cause
Ooh, I mean, this room.
Is the basement usable or is it just storage?
No.
It's primarily storage.
Storage.
I think Council on Aging has just come miles. But it's a long highway, right?
Yeah.
So much more, like so much more programming, more people are accessed, really great, and as it grows, it just, for all of us and for others, makes us aware of how much more is needed. My question is, how are we connected with that program, Age-Friendly Easton or something like that? There, remember
Oh, the
it was,
AARP age-friendly program.
right, and
Yeah, or the
would-
National Council on Aging.
And would these be mechanisms to help promote the advertising of the?
Yeah, so from an outreach standpoint, the Council on Aging aspect, I go to I won't be going this year because I have a conflict, but the Massachusetts Council on Aging, which is the conference for all Council on Aging directors and Health and Community Services directors or deputy directors. The outreach side of things, obviously we have the coordinator, which is the brochure specifically designated to older residents. But we've been pretty intentional about building in the programs here into the Engage in Easton brochure, which is more of an all-inclusive brochure that I'm hoping we can mail out through the schools. We're already having an online
Is
publication.
that the AARP?
So
No.
Engage in Easton is a brochure that we made that has all programs in town advertised. So it's a little bit wider spreading, primarily digital, not necessarily print marketing because we have a lot of print already. But we're trying to put all of these things in the same place so that we can start to weave everything together. And then in terms of outreach, Corey, Stephanie and Tracy and I, well, Corey no longer, but hopefully Corey's replacement.
He left?
Yeah, Corey left, I think, late September, mid-September. We're trying to backfill that position right now. I've been we went to Fox Hill not too long ago. I'm hoping we can go to the Housing Authority and maybe some other 55-plus communities to get the programs out there. But I think, Lynn astutely points out that we really want to invite folks in, but we are
Needing-
very close to the
Limited.
capacity of
Yeah.
what we can
Yeah,
actually
no, that's a
accommodate
good
right now.
point.
So it's
That's a really good point.
it's sort of a double-edged sword, but I think that's an important part of our story as well. So
I was so excited a couple of years ago when I heard about that age-friendly East End becoming part of that, but
Mm.
I never heard anything else
yeah,
about
that's
it.
one.
It's,
Sorry, that's part of your question I didn't touch on. So Kristen Kennedy, our director, is on that committee with Kathy Adler, and my understanding is they meet fairly regularly, like monthly or bi-monthly, to discuss the remaining items of the action plan to implement, and one of those is outreach as well.
Okay,
I'm not on the
thank you.
committee, so I don't necessarily have all the
yeah,
finite
no, thank
details.
you. Just if it was a mechanism to do more PR.
I'm gonna have to rewatch this clip so I can remember
Yeah.
everything I just said for the minutes.
Well, the biggest thing to get things going is word of mouth. You have to let people know what's going on. And those who are participating in programs have to tell their friends. So, I mean, that's the biggest one.
It's certainly been discussed informally, and so the idea is
Yeah.
being socialized with some folks. But I'll see if I can come up with
Yeah.
a roadmap for us and how we can socialize the idea a little bit more.
Okay.
Thank you.
backed out the agenda. Any more member notes? Not seeing
Happy
it.
Thanksgiving.
Yep. Let's see, just one thing on the, I think,
I do want to say something. I did see something. Actually, it was through the synagogue. They were partnering with Best, some fitness thing has the word best in it. I'm blocking on it. But if anyone needed a meal for Thanksgiving,
Personal best karate.
personal best
Oh,
karate
yes.
had the word best, and there was a.
They do thousands of meals
And if
every year.
If somebody, if whomever, if anyone knew of a family that needed a meal, you could put that information into personal best.
They have 4 locations. They do a big drive. My son took karate there 15, 20 years ago.
Well, I'm
And
glad.
they've been doing it forever.
I'm glad you're here, because I could just come up with the word
Yeah,
best.
And
but-
it's about 15 communities they deliver to.
And that's a lovely,
my nephew probably taught him,
if anyone,
Who's your nephew?
Phil Solden.
if anyone
He
knew,
taught over in Norton.
someone
No, my son took it
in
in
the
Foxborough.
Parker Terrace community
he
or
ended up.
something who needed,
But
Yeah.
just let best whatever it is.
Personal
know.
best.
All that.
Personal
To,
best
Now,
karate.
for the next meeting, because under member notes 9 in our minutes, was the Marjorie suggested a good and welfare agenda to learn
Ooh.
more about each other. So,
So what do we have?
well, I'm thinking for the next meeting, if you
Add the
wanna
agenda.
put it on the agenda and,
I've been on other committees, and it just takes 3-5 minutes
Oh,
if
yeah, no,
someone
it
wants
just-
to
it-
say
it's a-
something.
yeah.
It would be a nice way for us to get to know one another,
Yeah.
like
I
it's
can
someone's
certainly add that.
birthday or someone's grandchild
Yeah.
or someone got a new pair of boots. I just
Yeah.
made that up.
but that, that was there, so I thought I'd bring that up.
Yes.
Uh,
I have one question for the group before
Okay.
if we decide to make any motions. Do folks think it would be well received to put some of the afternoon programs here on the online registration portal, or is it maybe not quite yet? What's folks' read on that? And
A
granted,
lot of seniors do not have computers.
Right, the seniors, no, a lot of seniors
I
don't.
don't.
Some do.
I don't have
Some
that.
do,
That,
but no.
with that little square thing, a Q or
With the
whatever.
tags,
I don't
yeah.
have any of that stuff. I'm saying, I'm a senior. I can't do that.
I think there might be a way we could do it where we have programs posted on that website, but you could still sign up in-house in this building. Would that be well received?
Well, what about through the television
I think
station?
that thing there,
Yeah.
this
Oh,
thing
that-
right there.
the QR
Well,
code.
I can't do that thing.
Yeah.
There's also the seniors
Oh.
that are living with their families.
Neither can I.
My grandmother lived with my mother for years, and my mother was always looking for things to keep her entertained during the day. So if we have people that are living with family members, it could be the younger family members
That's
seeing
Help them out.
this, who are saying, "Mom or Dad, this is going on in a couple of days, are you interested?"
Yeah.
So it may not catch every senior out there, but it may catch more than what we're getting now.
That's a good point.
okay.
Okay, so something to keep in mind. Not necessarily a no, but maybe not right now.
I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Everybody's always in a hurry to get.
Well, it's almost an hour.
But I
Oh,
think we
really?
talked a lot.
Yeah.
I still look at that clock.
It was an interesting discussion.
Time stood still right there.
10:55.
Yeah.
Unanimous, I'm assuming. Vote. Yeah, unanimous.
Yep.
Ah,
Didn't hear what he said.
excellent.
Unanimous.
I'm looking forward to your husband's thing. I'm a diabetic,
Okay.
and I'm at a point where it's getting expensive for the
Oh,
medication.
oh.
If he's doing that
It-
end of it and so on.
It's not about the medication. It's
No, but the financial end and so on is what you said?
I do have an
More
11
about
o'clock,
the
but it was
finances
very
of
good to
food
see
and
you all.
things,
I hope you all have a
right?
great
People
Thanksgiving.
diet